aggressive here, Gunnar?
On the side of Liquid?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think most teams like playing a little slow with the Lesh in the early game. You get the Bloodstone, and that's kind of your go time. So in terms of laning stage, no, I think they're going to be very stable in the lanes. No one's going to make many moves. Enigma wants to sit in his lane as well, but once they get this probably level 8 timing on Lesh, he goes to farm a lot. Maybe the Lifestealer will rotate to the Enigma. It's mostly probably on the Lifestealer, honestly, to do a lot of the early moves.
What do you feel like the timing is for that Lifestealer then? Well, any specific itemization? Maybe you kind of go away from the armlet here, you go for maybe a quicker Maelstrom or something?
We've been seeing a lot of like Mjolnirs and BKBs on the Lifestealer, especially versus Naga. I think it happened yesterday. I don't remember what happened, what the player was, but it's a lot of BKBs, which is pretty interesting because you would always think of this hero as having a built-in BKB, so you don't need it, but it's just the ability to fight and constantly have a BKB for almost like 20 seconds with the Rage.
It's just so much space that gets given out. Of course, taking a look at the mid coming out here for Stormstormer up against Mike. Leshrac up against the Arc Warden. And, you know, me and Mike, we've seen a lot of Arc Warden in Southeast Asia.
Yes, we have.
Arc Warden, Mike, your favorite hero?
My favorite hero, indeed. I mean, I hate this hero so damn much. I mean, it just drags out the game so much. And I mean, you were saying it was a decent pick here, Gunnar. I know you were kind of scared we might have another very, very, very long game. Well, what are you thinking about the mid lane, though? Against Mike on the Leshrac, who should have that inherent advantage?
I think probably it's fairly even. Both of them have nukes, so they're just going to secure creeps and not think about it. And as well, both of them walked into the matchup very comfortably. Obviously, the Arc Warden's picked into the Lesh, so he knows his matchup, he knows it's mid. But Mickey also had the opportunity to, you know, pawn off the Lesh if he's too scared of the matchup. So I think it should be pretty even. Both people are going to farm. There's opportunities at level 6, mostly on the Arc Warden side. This level 6 timing is really strong with getting 2 sets of all your spells, having a support rotate. But we'll probably see Mickey just rotate out of the lane once he starts.
Well, let's talk about the top lane as well. Matama Man, Insania are going to be against Toby and Kataomi. So the Pulse 3 Nagasaran and the Pulse 4 Tiny against this Lifestealer Lich lane. John, what are you thinking about this lane? Like top lane, do you think one side has the advantage here? Do you think it goes the other way?
I think it's fairly good for Liquid. And down the line, you're going to have the Frost Shield to just kind of hold Matumba up front. Toby's not going to be able to be as aggressive with his right click harass, and Kataomi's going to need levels to really kind of gap close. What I'm interested to see is really the itemization of Toby. We heard the panel. They've been going for utility, you know, raid pack, Pipe of Insight, stuff like that, just to keep you alive in the middle of these fights. And that can really slow down Liquid here. I mean, they do have damage, but it's mainly on Mickey early on. It does feel like it does take a little bit more time for that Lifestealer to ramp up, outside of just staying alive for a long time. So I think that's what Entity's likely just going to look. Get those utility items up in Naga and just run from there.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of Naga being picked pretty early in this tournament, and a lot of the time it's actually flexed to support or offlane, like probably majority of the time. And you would always think to yourself, why would you pick this hero that's always known for, you need 3-4 items, you need Manta, Defusal, Scotty, a heart, and you're like, okay guys, I'll show up, I'll stop farming, I'm going to fight. But a lot of it's now that pushing lanes is very important to a lot of teams, and Naga, her spells are so good that she can push lanes with no items, or little to no items. And the way that fights are being broken up now is there's a lot of 6, 7, 8 second fights where you have BKBs, you have the big Mars arenas, you have Black Hole in this game, for instance, where that's where a team needs to win the fight. The fight needs to end there. And with the new shard, which is that, it used to be the old axe, where it's the healing on the song, you kind of have this ability to reset the fights very easily in a lot of games and just, you know, play for, in this game, they have the Arc Warden. Arc Warden loves long fights, and so all they have to do is survive the early, like the initial fight of Liquid in the mid game to late game, and they should have the advantage.
Well, talk to me about that. In fact, hold that thought, because top lane, there is going to be a bit of an avalanche, but it's not going to lead to much. Talk to me about that last lane, and we've got the bot lane as well. I believe we do have the Enigma and the Spirit Breaker here against, of course, the CM and the Slardar. What are you thinking about this one? Like, is there an advantage for either side? I feel like Pure should have it over Boxy, but I suppose it can go either way with the Enigma being against them as well.
I'm surprised the Naga didn't go bot, actually. I thought Naga is generally good versus Enigma. But they probably think the Crystal Maiden, now with the nerfs to the Eidolons where they have less magic resistance, can probably help deal with them earlier better. And I think it's just kind of how they wanted to play their heroes in the game, and they don't care the lane as much. Enigma also just generally wins the lane, so you can't be too sad if you lose the lane or it's a little rough. But even now, he's up 400 gold, so the early lane is going in Entity's favor.
Is it worth the trade-off, though, of not having the Slardar up against the Lifestealer early on, just to be a little bit more aggressive up top?
Honestly, that's probably the bigger difference into the lanes. I thought the Slardar was picked just to lane as a Lifestealer. But again, they probably also just are comfortable playing the heroes in this style. They're comfortable playing in their lanes. So there's not much reason, unless you think that it's, you know, a massive difference. I think both of the lanes are just comfortable playing, and it'll fix what they want for the mid game better.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Big vision being placed here in the mid lane. Boxy with a cheeky little rotation, just trying to keep tabs on Stormstormer. I suppose against the Arc Warden as well, this is, you want to try and take this man down early on if you can, right? Because as you get into the mid and the late game, obviously with the Tempest double, it becomes very hard to catch him. Seems like Boxy's already kind of setting up his bot lane. There's going to be a bit of harassment out on the Fishman. In fact, a charge as well, but how lucky can you get? He does get one bash, but that's going to be about it. Zai, he will rotate onto Boxy, they go, or rather Pure they go, but Pure, he's just going to just run away very easily with the sprint.
Yeah, Arc Warden's one of the heroes. It's similar to a Tinker, where he's very slow and you want to run it in mid and kind of stop his timings. Even now you see he has a Midas queued up before boots. So anytime you see that, you always are like, okay, kill him, don't give him Midas, don't give him the Midas timing. And Leshrakt's one of the best heroes to rotate mid towards. He's very fast, he does a lot of damage. So we'll probably see some early rotations, I'd say in the next minute or two, where Boxy's going to try to kill the Arc Warden at least once in the early game.
It does feel like you need that, right? Like we talked about the timings again, and we heard Blitz. They do want to play faster here on Liquid. They've got the foundations to get that done. For Entity's end, I mean, how fast do you really want to take this game?
You don't want to take this game. Whenever you pick Arc Warden, honestly, the biggest timing on Arc Warden is a level 25 talent. As sad as it sounds, maybe exciting as it sounds for the arena.
Excuse you.
You want to play for this cooldown reduction talent at level 25. That's your big timing. That's when the game gets very hard.
So, bit of a charge mid lane. He was getting ganked, to be fair, so he might not complete the charge. Though I say that he's still going for this. Stormstormer could be in a bit of danger. They do land the follow-up stun. Mickey, does he have the damage? Stormstormer? No, he's the one to get the kill. Fishman with a great rotation out. Mickey, he's going to feed his own life away as well. Complete disaster here in the mid lane for the side of Liquid.
Yeah, the instant TP's in, they managed to share that damage coming out, and Stormstormer manages to just run away in the nick of time. 2 kills for their trouble, and we talked about Liquid going fast. They tried to dodge that gank and transition to a kill. Doesn't quite shape up that way.
He also has really low mana on the Lesh, so his ult, I think, stopped because of mana. So they lost that little bit of damage. I think one more tick of the ult, the Arc dies, even if he has more mana to do the toggle. But just unfortunate. A really nice rotation. Entity just...
Go again.
I think this team plays fast.
Pure, he's in danger now. Maybe Liquid trying to return the favor as Boxy getting very lucky with the bashes. Can he find another? Not quite yet. Pure gonna go for a run. Boxy, he'll try to chase, but with the sprint, it's a little bit too hard to keep up. So they are gonna back off. I suppose at the very least, you are forcing Pure to have maybe a little bit of a slower game here in the slot.
Yeah, he's gonna have a slow game, but again, he's not really the win condition in this game at all. It's all in the Arc. They pick the starter as a hero that will just run in, stun, and give vision for the Arc. And if he dies, it sucks.
Pure?
He's dying right now.
He certainly is. A couple lucky bashes out, but Pure again going to be able to run. I believe that was 2 bashes in a row. Meanwhile, top lane, Toby now going to be in danger. He's got a lot of armor on that Naga Siren, but they are still chopping through. Matumba not giving up. Toby, he'll try to keep juking around that tier 1 tower, but there is no help coming. Matumba able to secure his first kill of the game.
Yeah, it's a nice kill to pick up, right? It's a lane that already feels pretty free from Tumbaman. 48 to 11, not really being contested. I think the one thing for Liquid as well, focusing so much on Pure down bot, is that those rotations mid that we saw them attempt at least once a while ago, they're not trying again anytime soon. So you're giving a lot more room for that Arc Warden, as you're seeing here, Gunnar. And Stormstormer, he's going to have a good path towards that Midas.
Yeah, the biggest entity right now, I don't think the side lane cores really matter to the overall game plan. They can do their role with low farm, bad games. They just have to, create vision, create space, push lanes. Arc Warden will do everything. He'll kill everyone who do all the damage.
Mid lane, Kataomi, he's the first target, and they do find it, but now Mickey could be in danger. He does back his way out. They are not going to pursue. Seems like Kataomi going to be the only casualty, and of course it's the mid laner in this TriCast saying that the side lanes don't matter, Gunnar. I wouldn't have expected any less from you.
The mids are going to be the star. I think even on Liquid, the Mickey, his Bloodstone timing really big. Also, he picks up a casual cloak. We've seen that a lot as the tournaments developed, where there's so much magic damage people are picking in the early game. This game it's the Arc, Tiny, and Crystal Maiden, where just having this casual cloak, there's so many plays I've seen where they have 50 health left, 100 health left, and it's purely because of this cloak. And it's so cheap. It's just a really nice value item.
He's rotated up top. They are at least going to find the Lich here, so it's a decent pickup onto Insania. Question is, can they find the big one? Can they get Matumba Man? Not quite. He'll go for an Infest, quick stun away, and he'll just run his way back perhaps into the jungle, while Boxy is going for a charge up top, but naturally is going to have to cancel. There's 4 heroes up, but there's absolutely no point going up.
Yeah, and I like seeing this kind of movement out from Entity. They're trying to go a little bit quicker. At the same time, this is so much space for Stormstormer mid. I mean, Liquid have not been able to focus down this Arc Warden. Oh, Midas fully up, Maelstrom coming up next. You've got the Tempest double. The farm will rack up here.
Yeah, it's one of the things where both those safe lane carries want to sit in their lanes as long as possible. That happens every game, and it's kind of a test of chicken. It's whether you're going to be the carry to rotate first, and you have to make sure the move's successful. A lot of the time it is, but those times where you leave your lane too early and it's bad, it gets really bad. So you're always going to wait for trying to bet the perfect opportunity. Pure makes the right call. He goes top, gets the Lich. He loses his entire bot, but now he kind of has space to farm.
Just go straight to that jungle and try to build up and still give Toby a little bit room. I mean, this is the one thing with Nog as well. You mentioned here, Gunnar, right? You just send out the illusions, you can scout out, you can clear out camps, clear out waves without too much commitment. Although you're not doing too much to stop the life stealer there.
Nice little cancel from Kataomi. Boxy trying for a charge, but really just wanted to zone him out for Mickey to be able to pick up the power rune. As now Mickey being slowed up quite a lot. They're going to move back in. This could be very dangerous for Liquid. Boxy, he's trying to help out, and he does take the toss away from Mickey as they keep going. Kataomi, he's the one to drop, and Mickey, look at this Giga Chat. He'll just keep going in against 4 heroes. He just doesn't care, but it may cost him his life, and eventually it will. But here comes Zai with the black hole. He wants Pure at the very least. Chain Frost out as well. It will be enough. Who won that team fight?
It's Entity, right? Arc Warden doesn't die. Everything on Entity is on the Arc Warden right now, and every time you don't kill him in the fight, he gets a kill or two, he survives the fight, you're just building up, getting XP. That's all that matters. It's all the XP. So every time he lives, it doesn't matter if he gets gold, doesn't matter about anything, he just needs the levels on this hero.
That, and you mentioned as well, right? Battle of the mid laners, you managed to find Mika on that Leshrac, stalling out that Bloodstone timing, so you're getting a ton. And again, all the movement out from Entity has just been forcing Liquid into this really weird position. They're having to respond to these side lanes, but the mid, it just feels like Stormstormer is getting way too much at this point.
At the same time, Liquid is playing for their timings with both their 1 and 2 are top of the net worth right now. So Liquid, they're up 3K gold. We're talking about this, disaster right now. The Entity getting all of their timings, but Liquid's having a good game. It's just that there's always this looming fear when you pick Arc Warden of, is it too late? Have we ended the game? We heard in the last series it was, we're gonna win in 30 minutes, and as we saw after 30 minutes, they didn't win, so the game got hard. And in this game, again, it's just the 25. That's the big timing.
So what you're telling me is we should delete Arc Warden from the game?
I never said those words out of my mouth.
I mean, you want to play it, don't you?
I like 20 level 25, 60-minute games occasionally. If it was a staple, maybe I would agree with you more.
Here we go again, charge up. They've got the Infest Bomb this time at Tumba. They're going to find Pure on that pos 1 slider. Pure surely has no way out. He'll pop the sprint, but still slowed up here by Matumba. Will go down. Fishman, he was also spotted, but they aren't going to bother trying to chase that deep. They'll be happy with the slider.
Yeah, and it's really good to see Liquid recognize that time. Early Armlet already up on Matumba. #1 in effort, that you pointed out there, Gunnar, and just play with that combination. Infest in, charge forward, give Mika some space, and start to get some action on the map.
Yeah, the panel was talking about this Infest Bomb, which last year kind of moved away from this in the, 2015, 2016. There's a lot of the puck lifestealer. Every game, your entire life was just infest him, jump out on a blink, get a kill. And we moved away to being more of a body, but I think now that everyone just dies so quickly right now to all these jumps that it's kind of becoming the standard these days.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing we're going to have to keep seeing out from Liquid. How often can they get that done? How often can they force Entity to play this game even slower? And they probably want to. The big thing right now is, again, you are seeing that build up for Liquid. That 4K up, despite that back and forth on the mid. Mika still on a good path towards that Bloodstone here.
It's all about the kind of item timings for Liquid. On the side of Entity, it's XP. On the side of Liquid, it's gold. They want to get the probably Maelstrom, even maybe Mjolnir on the Lifestealer and a BKB. They want to get the Wraith Pact on the Enigma. They want to get the Bloodstone on the Lesh. Whereas Entity, again, their only big hero that really, really matters, that's going to win the game, is the Arc Warden.
Right.
So Liquid has these 3 heroes that all going to give and take. What they get a timing, they help the others get timings. But the Slardar and the Naga, all they do is just try to make space, help team fight, and just everything's for the Arc Warden.
Well, this is where things start to really escalate, I feel like. You talked about the Midas, but now the Maelstrom up as well on the Arc, so he's just going to really scale out of control. Now, you talked about, that panic of, is it too late? Not quite yet for Liquid, but It seems like the pace of the game needs to speed up maybe just a little bit here from Liquid to try and slow this man down. So as you said, it's a full protect one. You don't care. It's all about the arc. Just make sure he stays alive, gets the XP, hits that level 25 mark, and then, well, then you're not playing Dota anymore.
No.
Playing the arc warden game.
Yeah, it just changes completely. I think the one thing for Liquid right now is they're also starting to go into some good utility coming out from Zai. Great pack pretty much done, fully assembled up, so they can try to go for these fights, try to prolong them a bit more, survive through. They've got some good durability coming out, and that could be one of the times. I mean, you're also almost done with Mika. At least you have the soul booster up, so it's going to be a lot more durable as well if he does get jumped on. Oh, full bloodstone.
So they're going to smoke up. They're going to, again, Liquid just uses timings. They get the item, they go, they smoke up, they fight. So they're going to look for try to get a kill. Again, they want the arc. That's the goal. And he's been in this mid lane area, so you'll see them wrap around mid or the tower. At the least, they want this tower.
A good read from the Storm, from the Arc Warden. He does back off at the right moment as Fishman is the one to tank the gank. You'd argue that's good positioning, right? Like, just, in fact, hold that thought, because Kataomi, he might be in danger as well. They may just find a second as the Nether Strike. Massive range up from Boxy, finding a second target, and they should take him down. No problem. Matumba, he'll be the one to take both kills. They'll even find a mid-tier 1 tower out of this, perhaps.
This tower is really important just for the amount of map it gives. Because Arc Warden wants to he wants to farm waves, and he wants to farm these safe camps, and every time you take the tower, he kind of gets less and less map, so he requires more and more lanes, which he takes away from his team. Anytime you give him safe farm, he'll take it, and then his team also gets farmed. But this is where his net worth is going to go up, and his team is going to go down, and you're going to, as you can see, the top 4, 3 of them are Liquid. And one of them is Entity. Yeah, it's going to keep getting bigger and bigger, all the differences.
And you can see that gap already between Stormer and the rest of his team. At least the 2K gap. Pretty big considering how much more well-balanced it is on Liquid's end. And it's going to get a little bit tougher for Entity to kind of maintain control. I mean, you are getting that build-up slowly but surely onto Toby here on the Naga as well. He does at least have the Hood of Defiance going into the Orchid for some a little bit more control coming out. Is there anything else from Entity that can maybe help them match up against Liquid's timings?
It's all about how they take the fights. They want very slow fights. They don't want them to be bursty, so probably they don't have the best follow-up for a song, but I would say something like a song into like a tiny combo and a hero. You kind of kite the fight out and you get a lot of spells. The Arc Warden still will do damage the whole game. He does a lot of damage, a lot of magic, but he can't ever get jumped. So they just need to play these really long range fights, pokey. Even Sardar's not too bad at it. He does so much damage in a jump in 1 or 2 hits with the bash that they're hoping just get 1 kill, get out, and just, you know, the game gets delayed by a minute. Delay the game, delay the game, delay the game. That's all it is. It's just about delaying.
Smoke up from Entity. I mean, they're going to rotate down towards the bottom side here with their starter CM. Boxy's actually going to charge in with the SPS bomb once again. Kataomi is around. That's the big target, though. They found Stormer, and they're going to take the kill. But can they get their way out? Matumba, he'll also get caught here by Pure and does get shredded by the Slaughter. It's Boxy. He'll go for a run, but the Courier's following him. The Courier's just giving the information they need. Boxy, though, he is too fast. Or is he? They try to find him, but Pure's off the mark with the blink.
A little unfortunate he had the clarity on the Courier, so it had the slow from concealables. So I wasn't able to perfectly follow him, but it was a nice play.
Yeah, and I think that's also the blink reveal coming out from Pure right there in that instant smoke. They managed to get the good angle. They lose their Arc Warden, but they at least find a punishment onto the Lifesteal, kind of slowing him down just a tad bit. Although I say slowing down, Matumba is still massive here.
Yeah, and he's going for the shard next. I've been really liking the new shard, how it works. It's so much cast range, it's so much lifesteal that you give to all your teammates. Even the Lesh, I like it so much with Leshrac lifestealer, because you put it on a target, it'll keep bouncing with all the AoE damage, he'll keep lifestealing, and he just gets an extra 2 or 3 bloodstone effectively in the fight.
Roshan is going down the way of Liquid. No contest quite yet from Entity. Doesn't seem like they're quite well aware it is happening. Roshan, I mean, it's getting way too low now. They haven't got the time anymore to try and contest this one. So first Roshan of the game, going to go the side of Liquid. They'll be very happy with that. Looks like it was Mike who takes the Aegis. Naturally, the Leshrac really enjoys that reset. Happy days for Liquid. Now with this Aegis, you'd assume you can keep this pace going.
Yeah, it's the first Aegis of the game is generally just about pacing and gold. So Liquid's goal of this is they're 60 gold right now. They're going to go maybe like 8, 9k, depending on. And Entities just survive the Aegis, don't give up too much. don't worry about towers because the first Aegis doesn't matter too much. It's about the second Aegis that both teams are looking at as this is our go time, we have to go. So Entity is probably mentally, even though it's first right now, they're mentally prepping, all right, what are we doing in 10 minutes? When the next one spawns, what are we going to do? How are we going to fight this? He's not going to be 25, he's level 13. So what are they doing at this 20-30 minute mark where Liquid is prepping to end the game with the second Aegis?
And at that point, you're going to be seeing a lot of items coming out from Liquid. Like Zai's probably going to have his blink in less time than that. You're just going to be finishing up that full shard, and Matumba getting that additional life steal off. And the BKB is going to be up for Mika soon. And it doesn't feel like they have any good answers for that prolonged spell immunity, especially as you talk about down the line. Once Matumba has his own BKB, I mean, that massive duration for him, it's all down to just pure on the Slardar.
I think Liquid right now just feels very comfortable with how the pace of the game is going. And Entity, you know, in the back of their head, they're still thinking that it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, but you're always worried if you're not the Arc Warden, because you're always like, you have to make sure that they have the tough job. He's the one who's just like, all right, don't worry guys, just trust me, I got this game. And everyone else has to be like, all right, what do we need to do to make sure that it's all going according to plan right now? And I think the way they use the starter right now is really nice.
Kataomi, nice avalanche away. Still Nether Strike, massive range once again from Boxy. Though Kataomi with a nice toss back, but Matumba, he's going to be there with the slows. You've got Fishman around to try and help out, but in the end, he really just can't do much through the rage of Matumba. Is this a bot T2 tower to go down? It does seem like.
Yeah, they're going to use the glyph, but I don't think Liquid has anything to fear. Entity doesn't want to force this fight, and they actually don't glyph it.
Oh, interesting.
The first tier 2 would have gotten a reset, maybe just stall out a bit. Not the biggest thing in the world.
It's not too big of a deal. The worst is when you don't get a reset the glyph and you glyph the tier 2, and that's when it leads into maybe your tier 3s get a hit, maybe you lose all of your outer tower. So at least now they still, it's pretty much the same, it's just the game is 6 seconds faster, which not the worst.
Not the worst, yeah, although it does feel like for Entity every second does count, right? You're still trying to build up for Stormer. He is at the point where he has the blink and the Maelstrom, but still miles off from that 25 talent where it does get ridiculous. If you're an Entity now, I mean, you mentioned it, right? You're looking for what you're going to do by the next Aegis. You're looking how to enable Stormer to hit those spikes. What are we looking for from them? They're going to have this blink on Kataomi soon, and it is up, but that's timed with Mika's own BKB.
They're hitting a lot of timings on Entity soon. The Orchid's going to come out for Toby. BKB is going to come out for Pure. The Blink just finished, as you said, on the Tiny. So the others are hitting timings, and Art can play with his own team timings. He has so much range and damage that they're going to kind of hit this maybe ball where they will force a fight into the Aegis and be confident. But on the side of Liquid, they're actually hitting their own timings as well. Boxy almost has a full BKB. He actually has the full BKB right now on the Spirit Breaker, which is, this is where you see the kind of difference, I guess, in terms of one team's being ahead and one team's other. A lot of it also comes down to the supports. You see that it's been 20 minutes and he just picked up the blink on Tiny, and on the other side, he's up 2,000 gold on the Spirit Breaker and has a BKB.
Yeah, so it's going to feel a bit tough to kind of close out. And that's something with the support Tiny, right? Like that blink timing just feels so pivotal, and when you manage to only grab it after the initial BKBs come out, it can feel a little bit rougher. And that's him playing with the Philostone that they've had for a few minutes now. So it's just been a little bit slower for Kataomi. He has been copying the ganks. I mean, he's 0-4-5. He has been kind of making that space for the team.
He made the choice to go phase boots, which is generally if you want to make a lot of early moves and not force the blink and play with your team. But unfortunately, it didn't really end up working out except for that first TP play.
Give me a rough estimation, you two. What's the time? Like, give me a time in the game where this Arc Warden's a problem. What is the exact time? I want predictions.
Exact time on the clock.
I don't want your level 25. I want exact time.
42 minutes in the clock.
I was going to say 43.
Oh.
There you go.
Okay.
Very close.
See what happens. See which one of you was right. Entity grouped up. May go for a smoke. Chances are you don't really want to. Just group around Stormer, make sure he remains safe, keep that farm going. Liquid, they have taken over that Radiant Triangle, so it's going to be a pretty nice bit of farm denial here inside of Liquid, but again, it doesn't seem like they're panicking. Entity, they're more than happy to drag this out.
I also know we talked a lot about how Entity's kind of doing in there, but and like how they're behind, but they are actually very good at defending this high ground. They have Tiny and they have an Arc Ward. Both these heroes are amazing at defending the high ground. They have a Naga Song to reset if Liquid goes a little too far. So Liquid is, they're not too happy about going and forcing high ground until they're 100% sure that it's going to be good.
Yeah, the tools are there on Entity to kind of stall out. We've seen already from Entity's one game, they can stall these games out.
Pure is going to drop. Very easy pick up here by Matumba once again. Just the Infest Bomb proving to be so powerful here by Liquid. Pure, again, he's the pos one, but doesn't really care. He's just buying space for his mid laner. And it seems like Liquid, well, they are going to find a Tempest Stubble, but that's not going to be the real thing. Get a bit of gold here for Mickey, but that's about it.
The gold injection's always nice. You are kind of working on what you're looking for with the Aegis, right? Gunnar mentioned use first Aegis to get 2-3k more gold. They are up 7 to 8 from that 6 to 4k lead they had a while ago. So they've worked the map really well here on Liquid. They're starting to shut down Entity from getting into that jungle, from trying to reach forward in those lanes because of how early some of those tier 1s fell. It's just a little bit more challenging now for Stormer to just farm. And as you mentioned, Gunnar, he's just eating all the farm now. The farm is still there for Stormer, but it's starting to feel like Pure and Toby are really being sacrificed for that.
His BKB is so slow. It's going to be probably a 25-minute BKB on your carry, which is not the happiest. That's why he keeps dying. He's just getting run down by the Lifestealer. And even when he goes on them top, you can see how confident Liquid is to just walk away. They see all the TPs. They get the one kill on starter. Fishman is just one hit away from dying to the Lifestealer because he's going to be so slow, but Liquid just walk away. They don't feel the need to make anything. They don't need a bigger win than they're getting right now. They just take a small win here, take a small win there, and just walk away.
Well, save Katomi and Fishman this time, though I say that. Nether Strike, Boxy, not going to go all the way, but does see Toby. He might try for the Naga Siren, but does end up thinking better of it. In fact, Ensnare is out from Toby. Just hold down the Leshrac for a little bit, but it's not going to mean anything. They allow Mika to walk away. Liquid once again controlling that Radiant Triangle. And Entity still sticking as a group.
It's starting to feel like you're finding a lot more for Liquid to play with here, though. Blink off on Zai, Aether Lens as well, a little bit easier to reach with that Black Hole. You do have really good cancels here from the side of Entity, so it's not exactly the easiest to just go in without any protection or spell immunity at all. But the options are available for initiation from Liquid once they feel like they've got that foundation to try and pierce through for more objectives.
Yeah, this Enigma, he's early picked, so his Black Hole is generally early picked. He's not picked for the Black Hole anymore. He's picked for the lane, the Malefice, and all the ores he's able to buy. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes up a BKB, but I wouldn't be surprised if he just buys the Shard and just stuns heroes. Because he doesn't need to do anything in these fights. He just needs to exist and scare Entity away from grouping up, clumping up, and being able to kind of protect each other. Because once you do that, that's how you get Black Hole, and that's how the game ends.
Oh, there's that Gleipnir up. This is where things get scary for me. I see that Gleipnir, I get shivers up my spine. It's so hard, just the Tempest Double all over the map, able to solo you once he roots you with that Gleipnir up. And see what Stormer does done again. You guys kind of mentioned it's about 20 minutes away from him feeling completely busted, so we're going to give it a bit more time, but it does feel like it's getting to that point where even I'm getting a little bit scared now for Liquid.
And you can also see at the exact same timing it's like Gleipnir, BKB finished on starter, Pipe finished on Naga. All these timings are kind of lining up. Fishman has a lot of wards queued up, so we'll see those timings coming out soon. But this is where Entity's going to try to pick one hero up, maybe two, and then just call it a night, go away, keep farming. They just want the kills to delay the game, whereas Liquid want the kills to secure the next objective.
Yeah. With the smoke up, Matumba does read it well, backing off. I am curious, Gunnar, we had a little bit of conversation in the back room about this, but Toby's queuing up the Ags here. How do you feel about that Ensnare and that reel in this kind of game?
I don't even think of the reel in. You know, if reel in got removed, I don't know if the Ags would change at all.
Oh, this is dangerous. Boxy, he's going for a big charge. There's a lot of heroes from Entity around. He'll still go for Fishman. They might find the CM. Entity, do they want to try and force a fight? It doesn't seem like it, but this is a big timing. You talked about the second Roshan. It is now available in Liquid. They've spotted it out.
Now this is when the game starts going downhill very, very in Liquid favor. They're going to get Shard, they're going to get Aegis, and Entity hasn't really hit their timing. The Archborn, even level 18, really big timing. You almost have 100% uptime on the double. But he's level 15, just hit 16. So this is probably where Liquid's going to want to look to hit, you know, maybe mega, or not mega creeps, but, you know, super creeps in the mid lane, take out their racks, take out bot racks. At least one side is probably going to be the next goal.
Yeah. They're going to be able to do that really well as everything's lined up. They find Toby.
They are going to find Toby. They don't want that Song of the Siren available in this team fight. In comes the Tempest double, but it does end up expiring. Liquid, oh, that's a big stun out from Pure. It's onto 3, but there's no follow-up to it. In they go. Onto Boxy, but he's got the BKB up. Song of the Siren's there, but Boxy, he just keeps going. Oh, with the Tumba, they'll find at least one, and that's going to be Pure gone. Can you keep this fight going?
That doesn't feel like it. Great first BKB use out from Boxy, interrupting that fight, isolating Pure, and still they managed to secure that Aegis. So everything Gunnar said, they're going to be able to start targeting some tier 2s, start looking at some lanes of racks to take out and really build into that advantage, really start to choke out. Maybe not Stormer, he's still going to be able to reach out into some lanes, but the rest of the team is just going to start suffering on Entity side.
There's also really unfortunate timing for Entity. As you said, the Tempest double times out. There's a 28-second downtime where he has no Tempest double. So Stormer TP's mid. He's sitting there in the trees watching the fight the entire time. You watch his ult tick down because he doesn't want to go into this hero. He wants to use his illusion to be able to fight. But by the time Pure's dead, he gets the illusion. They don't have the... It's just very unfortunate how it timed out.
It's just not quite shaping up in the Entity. Mind you, they still have a lot of time to play for. Liquid looking to start to speed that game up. They've got the full Basher up now on Matumba as well, so he's got some control coming through here, and it looks like the Mjolnir isn't too far off as well. So all the timing's really being met. Sharing farm nicely with Mike up there in the top 2. Mike for his part, a little bit more armor on, going for the Lotus Orb next. For Entity, I mean, we talked about those key timings, you know, with the BKBs, with the blinks up. What else can they do? Maybe just execute better? Should they be the ones starting the pack?
They're going. They're going to try now. Mickey, he's in. Fishman, no, they want Toby. They want the Naga Siren. They'll get Fishman first, but Toby is completely melting to the damage of Mickey. They even found another. They'll find Pure. He'll try to BKB, but the Nether Strike right through it. They will secure the outpost, and Liquid just running circles around Entity.
Pure tries to catch the backline. He knows he needs to kill the supports because those are the ones without armor, but he just gets black hole very the back. They hold him the entire time. He goes down. As you were saying, it's hard for Entity to take a fight, I think, outside their base. They need to force... I think they need a toss back. They need to secure one hero, get him isolated in the fight, burst him down with all of their stuns, their damage. And playing these elongated fights or getting jumped at all by Liquid is kind of impossible, it feels.
Yeah, and they've got the tools to do that. Of course, they can stall with your Arc Warden, as you mentioned. They've got really good high ground hold, although they're going to be able to find the illusion at least.
There goes that Tempest double. Charges out. They see Stormer. It's just a matter of whether they want to try and make the jump in. Seems like it was just Boxy trying to give the vision over to the T3 tower. It was clipped up. Seems like Liquid, they're in no rush. They've still got 2.5 minutes on that Aegis. They'll retreat, they'll reset, and maybe come back another day.
Tome bought up by the Arc Warden, trying to get this level 18. This is the first small timing. The level 20 timing, not that big. It's a lot of damage, but he's fairly the same hero. It's all about the 18 and the 25. Those are the big timings. And whenever you're behind, you get so much XP winning a fight. You get so many levels, they're on kill streaks, they're so much higher level than you. But do they win the fight to get there?
Yeah, it's tough to see that from Entity. Maybe, as you mentioned, just getting tossed back. Although,
oh, that's the real hero. Stormer looking like he may have found an opening. They're going to try and some Matumba. It'll be a big pickoff, a nice avalanche, a nice toss. Kataomi trying to set up. They will at least find the Aegis or Matumba, but they're going to try and focus down Boxy, but through the BKB they can't do too much. Song of the Siren out. It's still only 2 heroes, but Liquid, they're coming in. They're trying to make something happen, but it seems like Entity, they are well and truly out. They'll find the Aegis. That's going to be enough for them.
That was pretty nice. They didn't even use the BKB on the Slardar. And again, this Aegis, maybe he gets tossed back to do a Slardar stun. Maybe he just gets killed instantly when he goes high ground. So maybe the game's delayed, but now the BKB is forced.
Oh, Mickey, has he gone too far? BKB is there. Stormer is being chased down. It's just the Tempest double, though. So Mickey, very confident with the BKB, is not going to drop, not in too much danger. Can they really go for this T3 tower, though, like without the Aegis up?
No, it feels so risky. Like that, just all the jump from Entity makes it feel like you don't want that without protection. You kind of want that next Roche. And for Entity, that's good. They get more time to try to build up. They get more time to try and hit that level 25, 18, 20 talent timings for Stormer, and just kind of play the Arc Warden game going forward.
We also get to hit our 42 to 43 minute timing.
Yes.
Casters.
Very important.
Very important indeed. I'm kind of wondering, like, Zaya's been very quiet this game as well, right? Like, we haven't seen one black hole. We did see one. There was one solo black hole early in the game. Apparently there was another, we just didn't quite catch it. What are you thinking with Zaya? Like, is it an easy game for these black holes to come out? Is it important? In fact, hold that thought, because mid lane, we might see one soon. Pure, he's in danger. Nice toss back from Kataomi. Saves the day, but will drop himself.
Very nice sacrifice. Yeah, I don't know. Zai, he just has nothing on his shoulders. He doesn't have to do anything. He just has to exist, and it's enough. It's scary. The hero's scary just existing. He always feels like, oh guys, we're gonna get black hold. We're gonna get black hold. Careful, careful. You always are talking about it. It's always the threat. I don't think he has to click it. Yeah. He can just wait for this Pure to walk forward, go to the back line, go a little too far, black hole one hero, and it's going to be enough for them.
Yeah, and just going back to that pickoff, without the Tiny, that threat of the toss back is gone, so high ground completely opens up, even though you have some setup with the song here.
Try to chase a little bit, but it doesn't seem like they can keep up. In fact, hold that thought. Kataomi with a nice toss back has found Matamba, man. This could be the big one. There's your black hole out from the low ground. Zai. It will get cancelled though by the Song of the Siren. They have at least got Fishman down. Liquid, can they keep going? It seems like they're going to try. Toby, he's the target. He'll get forced up the way, but it may not be enough. They'll just close the gap. Onto Kataomi. They want more. Toss in Matamba, but that's going to help Liquid. Matamba's happy to fight. They've even found the Arc Warden.
Oh my god.
An ultra kill out for Mickey. And GG has called Liquid. They make this game one look very easy. Just such a dominant performance from this dire end.
Oh yeah, they never hit that 42, 43 minute mark we talked about. I mean, and we heard Blitz, right? They wanted to play a faster game on Liquid.